Hello guys, okay, this is review part 2. An instrument to measure pressure is called a barometer. Okay, my stylus is skipping a little bit. Okay, which is an example of gas diffusion. Remember, if you have a beaker filled with water and I put a drop or two of dye, it's going to start in the middle, but eventually it'll go throughout the beaker. That's diffusion. Also, if you take a bottle of perfume at the front of the classroom, in a few minutes it'll go all the way to the end of the classroom. That's diffusion. Okay, volume of gas. Here we have volume. We have pressure. What is the pressure? They're looking for pressure, and they're giving you another volume. Okay, since I have volume and pressure, we're going to be using Boyle's law. So remember, you're going to just put in. So my P1 is 4 atm. My V1 is 300 milliliters. Equals to P2 is what we're looking for. And 3,000 milliliters is your second volume. Remember, wherever you have your variable that's missing, that's the side that's going to divide. So I'm going to divide by 3,000 milliliters so I can cancel. And what you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So you're going to divide by 3,000 milliliters. And so 4 times 300 equals, divide by 3,000. My answer here is going to equal 0.4, and that will be an ATM, 0.4 ATM, because your other pressure is also in ATM. Okay? All right. For number 4, it says partial pressure. So that means this is my P1, this is my P2. This is going to be looking for the total pressure. Remember, with Dalton's law, all you're doing is you're adding things up. So 256 torr plus the 25 torr, you're going to add that up, and your answer equals 281 torr, and that is going to be your total pressure. Okay. For number 5, I have volume, I have temperature, so I'm looking for the other volume. So that means we're going to be using Charles' law. Remember, don't use this one. V1 T2 equals V2 T1, and this will help you just plug in. So my V1 is 572. My stylus is acting out. And remember, if they give you Celsius, you have to change it to Kelvin. And then my T2 is over here, so I'm going to put 332 K equals my V1, my V2 is what we're looking for, and my T1 is 296 K. So now, volume is the variable that's lonely, so we're going to divide by 296K to cancel out and leave the V2 alone. What you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So 296K, you're going to multiply that out and divide. And your answer for volume is going to be 641.6 milliliters. And that's it. Okay. Charles' law. Charles' law, a volume and absolute temperature of a gas are directly related. Okay, so you will have this kind of a graph. And you have a formula of V1 T2 equals V2 T1. Remember to always change it to Kelvin. Okay, let's move this handout a little bit so I can see the rest. Boyle's law is the pressure and volume of a gas. They are inversely related, and you're going to have, here, let me put this correctly, this kind of a graph. And remember, your formula is P1V1 equals P2V2. And as long as both units are the same on each side, you're okay. If you have pressure at ATM on one side, but torr on the other side, then you have to convert, okay? All right, now number 8, find pressure in ATM. You have moles. I have temperature. I have volume. Remember, by labeling everything that you have, you can figure out what formula you're going to use. So here for number 8, you're going to use PV equals nRT. My pressure is what we're looking for. So let's just plug into the formula. My volume is 2.35 liters. And that's going to equal, moles is 0.215 mole. Okay, that's coming out a little funny. Okay, then R is your constant, it's 0.0821. And because of that constant, that's why you have to have liters, moles, and your temperature in Kelvin. Okay, now look at where your variable is. My variable is on this side. Because pressure is alone, we're going to divide by the 2.35 liters to leave it alone, to cancel that out. What you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So you have 2.35 liters, and you're going to multiply and divide. The answer is 2.24 ATM. Okay. Now number 9, also you have moles, you have volume, and you have pressure, but your pressure is in kPa. Remember, you can convert kPa to ATM. That way you can use your 0.0821, or you can use your R with kPa. Therefore, this will be 0.96 ATM. Okay. Wait. Okay, so now my pressure is 0.96 ATM. And my volume is 1.2 liters. My moles are 0.65 moles. And you're going to multiply times, let's use this V. Okay, you're going to multiply times your 0.0821. And we're missing the temperature. Okay, let's go ahead and erase what we had over here. Okay, let's hope everybody already got that down. Okay, and so you're missing temperature. Now, since this is our variable, you're going to multiply the 0.65 moles times your R, which is 0.053. Okay, when you multiply that out. What you do to one side, now T is alone, you do to the other side, 0.053. Now you're going to multiply the 0.96 times the 1.2 liters, and you're going to divide by 0.053. This will give you a temperature of 2.17 K, and that's in Kelvin, and that's your temperature. That's it. Okay. All right, number 10, your nuclear symbol. Okay, the 4 up here represents your atomic mass. Remember, that is what you can get from your periodic table. At the bottom or the top, the one with the decimal number, if you have carbon and it says 12.011, this is your mass, and that's where your mass goes on your nuclear symbol on the top. Okay. Okay, number 11, the splitting of a nucleus into 2 or more smaller nuclei is called nuclear fission. Fission. Oh, the stylus. which provides an alternative source of energy. Okay, last page. Substances that don't transfer heat well are called insulators. Okay, they kind of resist the flow of heat. Materials that transfer energy or heat easily are called conductors. Okay, my stylus isn't working very well there. Okay, a microwave oven transfers energy through radiation. Okay, remember also like the sun's radiates energy as well. Okay, same thing with number 8, that is also radiation. Key word for number 19, when air circulates in an oven, that is convection. Convection. Okay. Okay, number 20, what is the process that moves energy from one object to another? And there's physical contact. That's your key word there. That would be your conduction. When heat is added to an object, what happens to the molecules? They're going to move faster because of the heat of energy. Okay, what type of nuclear decay is written below in this would be an alpha emission. Okay, because of your HE with a 4/2. Don't forget to look at those particles from your notes. Okay, number 23. Remember, there's a quick way to know what is an acid and what is a base. Remember, to be an acid, you have to have an H in front. To be a base, you have to have a hydroxide ion or OH in the back. So A would be a base. B is going to be an acid. C is a base. D is a base. E is an acid. F is an acid as well. Okay, I meant to have that as an I. Okay, now name the following acids. Remember that if your original name ends in IDE, it's going to have a hydro as a prefix, and then it's going to end with ic. If your original name ends with ATE, it's going to just end with an ic. If your ending ends with an ITE, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's going to end with an us. Okay, so let's do these. H is always your acid, so that's always the last. Think of it as the last name. Okay, NO3 is nitrate. It ends with ATE, so this is going to be nitric acid. And acid's your H. Again, so now letter B. H is an acid. That's the last thing you put. Now, you have bromide that comes right off of the periodic table. Remember, when it's an element, it ends with IDE. So it's going to be hydrobromic acid. Hydrobromic acid. Okay, kind of got together there. Okay, letter C. H is always your acid that goes at the end. PO4 is phosphate. It ends in ATE, so it's going to change to ic. So it's going to be phosphoric. And then acid. Acid comes from the H. Okay, letter D is SO3. That is sulfite, ITE. Okay, so that's going to be sulfurous. And then H is your acid. There we go. Okay, letter E is HCl. Cl is chloride that comes from the periodic table. It has that ending for IDE. So it's going to have the prefix of hydro, and then it's going to be hydrochloric. Hydrochloric. And then the H is the acid. And that's it. I hope this is helpful. If you come to me and tell me my password's going to be, let's make it Gloria, and you give me that password, I will add an additional 5 points to something in your review. Okay, happy studying.